Welcome to the Northwest Passages Community Forum livestream. My name's Christy Burns. I produce the Morning Review podcast, and I help coordinate the Northwest Passages book club events when book club events are happening. But I am thrilled to start up this particular Northwest Passages livestream. We've all learned that great hair doesn't happen by chance. It happens by appointment, and none of us have been able to get appointments until this week. Rebecca White is here to lead today's discussion. Rebecca?
Hi, I'm Rebecca White with the Spokesman. I am here talking to Renee Hartshorn of Bella Dolce Salon. I'm here with Holli Cadman of Rumor Salon, and I'm here with Terra Coulter from Studio One. And so we're all kind of talking about what salons are going through, what they're seeing, and maybe things they want you to know as you're making an appointment. So yeah, what probably we'll start off talking about is maybe each of you guys kind of introduce yourself a little bit and where your salon is at with phase 2 and reopening. So maybe we'll start with Holli.
All right. Hi, I'm Holli Cadman, and I own Rumor Salon. And as we're reopening, kind of the biggest thing that we've come into experience is really just patience is kind of the biggest thing, because it's just a new transition and a new normal. And although it's very different to our guests coming into the salon, it's also a huge new normal for us as well. And what that looks like as far as how to schedule appointments, making sure that we're getting the things that we need done and the tools and equipment that we need to help protect ourselves and our guests as well.
And Renee, I guess what have you been experiencing as you've been preparing to open in June?
I guess, well, right now too, getting our supplies, getting, our face masks, getting everything in order, taking the pillows out of the salon, and then just making it so it's comfortable, inviting, but easy for us to clean and sanitize and just be organized. But also with the sanitizers and even our color, it's 9 and 10 days out, getting color back in right now. So from all of the big vendors, Redman, L'Oreal is mostly what I work with, but yeah, so.
And Terra, this is your first week opening. What have you experienced?
I think everybody just thinks there should be the first one in your seat. There's definitely been 2 to 3 months of missed appointments. And so, everybody's very anxious. Everybody's got grow out. Everybody's, ready to have a spot in the chair. And so just, I think a general reminder to everybody that for us, we're no longer allowed to double book, and that has a huge impact on how many clients we can take a day. So, people are, usually we can be like, oh yeah, we can squeeze you in, but there's really not those squeezes available right now. And so I feel like a week's appointments is taking a week and a half to 2 weeks. Now that we're rescheduling everybody, there's not room to double book and squeeze a quick haircut in. So, if some people maybe got missed that first week and anticipate being in today or within the next couple of days, and I'm telling them, well, no, actually it's still 2 weeks out. And so again, just like the other gals were saying, is just patience is huge with everyone, just to know that we're working diligently, rescheduling, your books from 2 months is not an easy task to do. It definitely is time consuming, especially if you're starting to work and work with clients.
And so what are the most common issues like the three of you are seeing, with clients coming back in after not getting their hair cut or colored for a couple of months? What are some common things you're having to fix or look at? And I guess whichever the three of you wants to first can respond.
I guess what we're doing right now, we are doing maintenance only. So if somebody, because usually right now is the time when seasons change, hairstylists change, color changes. And so if somebody's put box color dark on their hair and they want to go blonde or highlights, we don't have 5 and 6 hours for one client to do, redo colors. So we're looking at really, doing the retouches, doing the highlights, clean up their haircuts or something like that. But to get into, some of these clients, when they're, especially with your fantasy colors and all that, those literally take 7 to 8 hours sometimes. So a lot of people will not be booking those right at the beginning. I don't know about you guys, but have you guys talked about that?
I would absolutely agree with you. I think my first 20 phone calls was, I want a rainbow ombre, and or when's the earliest I can get in for an ombre or balayage? And I'm like, girlfriend, you're gonna be 2 months.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way. And I think a lot of new clients are calling too, because whether or not they had a stylist and maybe the stylist isn't back to work yet, or she's already booked. So definitely there's so many new clients calling our salon, and just gently telling them, like, we have 2 months of regulars. So for us to accommodate a brand new client is probably just not a top priority, unfortunately.
Yeah, we've already talked about it as a staff. We are going to be very respectful to the other salons. A lot in our cosmetology, our beauty community, have either changed salons have went out of business. And I cannot tell you the amount of people that they're working from home. They're buying equipment, they're working from home. And so we're only taking our salon clients right now, and we're not bringing any new people in, because we want to give that loyalty to our regular clientele in the salon.
Holli, what are you seeing and experiencing?
We're doing about the same thing. I do have a couple people in my salon that are pretty fresh out of school, so they're still trying to build their clientele as well, and they started just several weeks before we had to close. So they're kind of in a unique position, but for the most of us, we have a pretty full clientele, and so our goal is really to get those people in first. And when we do have new people calling in, one of our questions is, well, where do you normally get your hair done? Because we want to make sure that we're not poaching other people's clients because they're waiting on protective gear or whatever that is, because that's income out of someone else in our industry's pocket that we want to protect for them when they're able to come back as well. The biggest thing I've noticed, even with my regulars, even just for color retouch, is everything is just taking more time. So because they have a considerable longer new growth area, it takes a little bit longer to apply. It's taking a little bit more color. And as a salon, even though we're going through a lot more color than we would on a normal week, just based on the amount of color needed to refresh our existing clients, we're choosing not to charge more for that as well. And so we're just trying to be mindful that we're all in this together. And although we're spending a little bit more money on product, we also understand that a lot of our clients have been out of work for the same amount of time we have as well. And so trying to balance what that looks like for them, and making sure to just, as they're making appointments, we're telling them, like, expect to be here a little bit longer, making sure that they're understanding kind of this new normal and this new expectation, because color used to take us an hour, is maybe an hour and 20 now, or whatever that looks like, to make sure that they have that realistic expectation as they're coming in the door as well.
So what are some of the other ways that your visit to the salon might look really different than it did, let's say, in the beginning of March?
The biggest thing that we have gotten feedback from in our clients this week that we've been open is that there's no waiting room. So they're calling from the parking lot, and that's a weird thing. Like, we've had a couple walk up to the door and be like, oh, wait, and then go back to their car. So that's a big thing. And another thing is, we have some people that take all this very seriously and other people that don't. And so some of our clients are, I wouldn't say frustrated, but wanting to know more why, like why we're wearing masks, why we're spread out so much, why, all these whys behind it. And so that's probably the biggest thing that I spend most of my time while my clients are processing, is answering other people's clients' questions like, well, here were the regulations that came down that we're following, and just, although maybe they don't understand why, like just taking the time to thank them for being on this wild ride with us, because they want to be acknowledged that they're making these shifts as well.
And Renee and Terra, what are you kind of seeing? What's different, I guess, for a visit than it was before?
Well, I think for me too, I mean, we don't have a lot of kids that come in. We do a lot of colors, but now with school not being in session, and usually summertime, you know, you get a lot of kids in there because just not having the daycare and stuff. And so one of the girls ran into this today. A mom had booked her haircut and wanted to bring in her two daughters. They were under 16, but you can't bring guests. You have to make sure you have childcare for your kids before you come in, because literally when they walk in the door, you know, they're texting you, they're walking in the door, they have to sanitize for 20 minutes. You take them to your seat. Anything that they touch, you have to sanitize. And so that right there takes extra time. And clients, I mean, it's kind of like you have, you know, you don't want to feel like you're following them around, or, you know, did you touch this or touch that? And so, you know, just really taking the extra time, but not having people bring in guests with them, that's going to be hard. And I have a few husband and wife combos that come in together, and they can't come in together anymore. And that's a struggle, you know, for, you know, some of our guests. We have a lot of guests that come out of town too, so together. I don't
And
know.
then, oh, sorry. I guess Terra, what are you seeing?
You know, I don't know, because prior to this happening, I definitely called all my clients. I put out a Facebook video and shared it with all my clients in an email, just so that everybody would be prepared prior to coming in, and left it open for questions prior to that. So try to eliminate any questions before that. There's Megan.
With the mask.
And I think the biggest thing for us was actually more in a salon team agreement. So not necessarily so much with our clientele, but making sure we're a booth rental. So making sure that everybody was on the same page, everybody was in agreement, everybody understood the laws and the rules and expectations of each other, and understood the policies. So I think that my biggest thing was just making sure us as a team had each other's backs. And that way, if anything did come out from, you know, inside in, outside in, they knew they had my support in that, and decision making, as far as like not refusing services, but saying, hey, you know, look, we can't do it. So I tried really hard to make sure a lot of that stuff was taken care of prior to opening. We did, I think, just timing and scheduling, because with the governor and with the mayor and not having an exact date and having changed it so many times and rescheduling, and then finally kind of just were like, we're done. Our team was not prepared to really start until the 1st of June. So when they opened up early, they were just like, we're good. We're just going to wait until the 1st of June. So I came in this week, and I'm pretty much doing a soft opening. I'm definitely not out here busting my hiney to accommodate every single person. I'm just taking my time, figuring out timing, figuring out, you know, just routines, because it is a new routine for us. So it's like, oh God, no, you have to sanitize. Wait, stay here, don't move.
Yeah, we're doing the same thing as you. Just, yeah, exactly.
So I would say just the routine of it and figuring it out and starting to get into a repetitive, because I think once that happens, then we'll be golden. But
Yeah. Yeah, it was really hard not having that date, because when we thought we were coming back, and then we started scheduling people, and then we scheduled them, and then there was like 2 times that we had to reschedule them. And so we pretty much are doing a soft opening too, and just, very close family and friends that we know, they have to go through all the guidelines, but that way we're figuring out our timing, what we need to do. But we've had clients knocking on the doors. They want to get in now. I have emergency, I need to get in. And we're trying to write things down and book our own clients instead of each other's, so we know that order, because we've had to rebook them. So you have to have a good memory to kind of figure out where everybody was and stuff. And then I had a few clients, we had a few that went to Idaho too. And so we're getting our clients in that haven't got their hair done, that have been loyal. And we have some people that are a little bit angry. They want to get in right now. They don't want to wait. Right now we're booking into August and October. So
October?
yeah, already into there. So.
And so have masks been an issue at all? Or I guess also, what is the policy that you have about masks?
They have to wear masks. If they do not wear a mask, they can't come in. It's part of our guidelines through cosmetology, and they're very strict. We even went into, my husband, we had to go into the hospital. Ours are stricter than a lot of hospitals have for people coming in, just because we're closer to them. But the sanitizing is 100% more, with washing hands and the mask. The problem that we're having with the mask is just people are having a hard time breathing, our older clientele, and then us working. I mean, we literally cannot. I don't know about you guys, but I went in, working around the salon, there are a few people in, so had my mask on, and it zaps your energy a little bit. It's hard working with a mask.
So Holly and Terra, as you guys have been seeing clients this week, kind of how are they reacting to the mask requirements, or is everybody kind of okay with it?
Most people are really okay with it. We've only had one kind of push back on it really, and then it just took explaining, like, hey, we're all in this together. Like, this is going to allow our salon to remain open by following these. And when you put it in those terms, guests are usually pretty okay with helping you out, because you've created this relationship with them over the last several years. And so they want to protect you as much as they want to get their hair done. And so a lot of it has just been explaining the why. I would agree that it's super hot. The amount of energy I'm sure we're using running our AC every day to keep us cool is probably going to be nuts when I get that bill, but it's definitely helped a lot. And part of our sanitation time that we've booked out in between our appointments is we all take a second and go outside and like get a breath of fresh air, and then come back in and sanitize and get ready for our next client. I have several friends that work in other states, and so as they opened up before we did, they were posting like all these tips and tricks. So I just shared them with all of my team, like, hey, here's the feedback that I'm getting from these people, and when they're having to wear masks. And seeing like the other states open, knowing that that was going to be a requirement, I was able to start purchasing in small quantities here and there. So when they said go ahead and open, we were able to open pretty quickly just by kind of watching and being aware of what's happening outside of just Spokane, knowing, hey, if that's happening there, most likely it's going to be for us as well. So to help get everyone prepared kind of early, so that when we were good to go, we were ready to go, and they could get back to work as soon as possible.
I guess, Terra, what are you seeing as far as clients' response to this, like sanitation and needing to wear masks?
Well, about that, again, it was about our team. And I also wanted to make sure that people did not bring politics into it. So when I did my Facebook posting, I made it, yes, it's a state regulation, but I think I approached it more from a salon standpoint, and that this was a team's decision, and that we stood by each other in regards to it that way. And if you weren't, you know, if you didn't feel comfortable wearing a mask, then you just needed to wait until, you know, further on down the line, until maybe the laws changed, or, you know, the regulations kind of softened up a little bit. So I would say generally just people coming in, they know. So we don't even have to deal with it, just because I think I addressed it prior to the salon opening with everyone. And I did make it about our safety. I mean, we have 6, like if you figure out, you know, how many stylists you have, and then you have each one has a client, that's 16 people. So if you choose to come in, that's 16 of us that you potentially could infect. And we have every age group, we have the vulnerable, we have, you know, healthy. So we just requested that everybody respect us as a salon and each other as human beings, and you wear a mask and don't argue. I don't know. I mean, I just didn't want to have to address it in the salon. I wanted to, if anybody needed to be vocal about it, I wanted to address it one-on-one and outside of the setting, so that when they did come in, it was about them having their hair done. It was about them feeling good. It was about finally getting to just see them and love them and be safe, so that we could maintain and continue to stay open. You know, the last thing any of us wants is us to go back to phase 1.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree with you, Tara. That conversation before they came in has been crucial in helping to communicate and just create a good experience once they get there.
Mm-hmm. I've been doing that. I've actually talked to all my clients personally before they've come in. It's taken a longer time rebooking, but I feel like it just feels better when I greet them at the door, because they already know, you know, what to expect. And really, for the most part, we have had, we have a great community. We have a great clientele. And the other thing that I want to say too about with you guys, Terra and Holli, and I've seen you guys on, we have a Facebook stylist, and I just am so proud and so happy for our stylists that we can talk and stick together. And Meg White's has done a lot for us too. And Terra, I've seen you on there a lot. And it just, you know, having that community that we can bounce stuff off each other and talk to each other and just really support each other as fellow salon owners, fellow stylists is just, I just feel like, even though this has happened, there is silver linings throughout this. And I mean, I've been doing this for 30 years and I've never ever went through anything like this. And at first, being a salon owner going, oh my gosh, I mean, this is devastating. What are we going to do? And just, we all worked together. It all worked out. We had to have one of our stylists, she chose to work from home right now just because she has 2 young kids, couldn't get daycare or anything, so she's putting a nail station in her salon. But you know, there's just a lot of shifting right now in our industry.
And so with that, do you anticipate, you know, even after some of these, you know, requirements relax a little bit, that there are going to be some permanent changes and some things maybe that will just never be the same?
I think with cosmetology, yes.
I think people are be more mindful for infection control, just in general. I think that just having a cosmetology license, there's so many rules and regulations on infection control anyways, just to maintain your license in your salon when they come in to inspect once a year. But I think it's just going to put a heavier spotlight on that than there has been in the past. It's always been a huge deal in Washington, but I think even more so just the small things, you know, like making sure that your stuff truly is covered all the way, and, you know, are sanitizing and washing in between. I think those things are going to be more spotlighted than they have in the past.
Mhm.
And I guess, what do you think, Terra?
I'm really hopeful I don't know. I think my changes that I'm thinking are definitely more personal. So I don't know that for the industry, I think is to be seen. I think that it will really depend on how well we do through this. And definitely, like, even just with salons, like who survives, who doesn't survive, and in that regards. And I mean, everything is always changing. I mean, that's just the name of the game, and that's life. And everything, every now and then you need a kind of a kick in the pants or a hiccup or something that does startle, you know, that wakes us up a little bit more. Because I think exactly, if you've been in the industry, like I've been in it for 20 years, you get pretty complacent, you have a routine, you maybe, you know, you're quicker, faster with services, but then you're lazier with sanitation and stuff like that. So it does make you kind of sit back and go like, oh gosh, you know, I really do need to pay more attention to this, or I have been a little lax in this department. So from a business standpoint, I know that I'm just really trying to be more in tune with my girls, even though, again, like they're booth renters. I've always kind of let them do their thing, but now I'm finding that I'm really just like, do you get it? Do you understand why? Is there any questions? And making sure that they're following everything to a T, and not to be a boss, but to be a leader.
Yeah.
I think that's really important, is to set that example. So I've definitely have had to step up my game, because they're all looking at me. So if I'm lax in an area, then why should they, you know, what's going to encourage them to step up? So it's made me check myself a lot.
So do you think the pressure on the industry right now, and just the really long backlog of just regular clients, is going to cause some of you to have to raise your prices, you know, to keep up with, you know, how much extra things is going into this?
I raised my prices. And I included that on my last Facebook message. And part of it is that I have not raised my prices in years. And so I have some girls that are right out of school that are charging more than me. So I'm like, wait a minute, like this isn't right. So I think this pause did a lot for me. So one, I definitely looked at raising my prices, and it's not necessarily had to do with the fact that of the pandemic. It was time. And I think I figured that we're probably 20 to 30% less a day making money. You know, by the time you figure out how much time in between clients, you can't double book. So that's a 20 to 30% loss. Plus, in addition, you have the extra costs from sanitation, PPEs. So I'm not gonna I don't feel bad raising my prices right now. So that's just me personally.
I think eventually we will raise our prices. It's definitely an ongoing conversation in the salon. We chose to pause on that as we reopened, to just kind of assess and see where we were at. But like Terra was saying, this younger generation that's coming out of beauty school is charging like by time versus by service. And so their services are a considerable amount more money than ours, but a lot of the newer girls also don't double book. And so me working also in a beauty school, I was starting to see that shift in the industry already from this younger generation coming out, and already starting to assess like, where do I want to take my business to support the direction that the industry is going? And with not being able to double book, which some of us that have been in the industry for a long time, our clients are used to that. Some of this younger generation and their clientele they don't want to be double booked. They understand that their service is going to be 5 hours, but to get one-on-one undivided attention also costs more. You know what I mean? So they're willing to pay that more. And so that's kind of the direction that the industry was already headed. And now with the additional cost of more color for retouch and the protective gear and the more time that we're spending with our clients, I think you're going to see a shift in not just necessarily prices, but in how things are priced. So maybe a color retouch isn't a set standard price, but it's okay, for your service, it will take me X amount of hours and I am X amount of dollars per hour. And so I think you're going to see that shift just in the industry as a whole. And you're seeing that on a lot of those social media platforms that we were talking about earlier, where people are shifting that, especially you're seeing it a lot on the East Coast. And that will eventually trickle out kind of everywhere, which is my time is valuable. And here's where the prices are going to go based on timing, not necessarily based on, you know, I can get a retouch on in 10 minutes, but what does that really mean for pricing?
Yeah, I think, you know, we talked about it, and definitely, I mean, if somebody's coming in with 3 months growth, it costs more money. It takes more money. You know, our sanitizers are $50 a gallon for hand sanitizers, and the gloves that we've had to get and everything, and that's all went up. So on the other end of our industry, who we purchase with, all of those things are going up. So inflation, in fact, the grocery stores right now, they're saying they're at 50% in groceries, and I've seen it on my grocery bill. And our costs are going up behind the scenes. So we are going to have to, at some point, and I'm not talking, you know, when the first person comes in, they're going to pay, you know, $200 for a cut and color. That's not going to happen. But we have to be realistic about, we can't just give, you know, product away. And a lot of us have, you know, we've been very generous through this breakdown, charging only $25 for color kits and this and that. And so
You're nice.
yeah, it's gonna be I think all of us are gonna have to work together as an industry, and also us as salon owners. I mean, we're only charging, a lot of us, $300 to $400 to $500 a month for rent. And then I just took 2.5 months with zero money coming in, zero rent. I didn't take any rent from, even though they were independent contractors. And so, and I own my own business, I own my own building, but it took a direct hit on me personally as a businesswoman. But I mean, if we are salon owners, we really need to think about that, being, you know, we've got these buildings, we've got all of our stuff, to only be charging, you know, the lower amounts for rent. I think we need to think about that as a whole.
So why did you let your girls not pay rent during this?
What?
So why did you not charge your girls rent?
Well, right before all this happened, I had a hip replacement in November, so I was off. And my husband has been battling cancer for the last 8 months. And so I feel so grateful for the team that I worked with, because when I was off, I only took 3 weeks off after my hip replacement, worked really hard because we were going to do some fun stuff in the salon. And thank God I was able to save enough money, you know, and I'm a saver, to be able to keep that open. So I guess I didn't, because, you know, they really stuck behind me through, you know, what I went through with my own health, but my husband, and he's still battling cancer right now. And so some of these women are the breadwinners of their family. One of them was just out of, you know, out of school. So she's just building. And then, I don't know. I just,
I'm curious.
yeah, I feel grateful. I'm grateful.
That's awesome.
So,
Well, I think we're, you know, starting to get ready to wind down. But one thing I wanted to, you know, end this with is maybe each of you, you know, if you can think of anything that clients could really do when returning to, help keep salons open, things that they could help you do your jobs better or just avoid doing generally while waiting for an appointment? If each of you maybe want to address that.
I would say don't color your own hair and be patient. We're here. We're going to get to you as soon as we can. If you make that appointment, make sure you keep it because it's valuable. Somebody else wants it. So I know we had a lot of, cancellations before and people, get busy, and hopefully, that won't happen because there's a lot of people waiting in line. And I just think to be patient, and we all need to, as business owners, stylists, and our clients, is work together and help each other through this pandemic.
Yeah. Quick pause. What could happen if you color your own hair?
A lot of things. Well, my client did, and she had pink hair, and she thought she was putting brown on it. So, or you can melt it off. If you're working with bleach, I didn't give out any bleach kits at all. If it was over a 20 volume peroxide, I didn't get over that. So.
Okay. And then Holly, I guess what would you have to say to clients?
I would have to say, again, just be patient. Understand that as we're trying to figure this out and figure out our timing and trying to get everyone in without double booking. But I think just for clients in general, something just to keep in mind is that our industry is changing. And so although right now may be different, you're going to see changes come up with pricing and spacing and appointments and cancellation fees and stuff like that, because just like she was saying, the time is valuable and someone else is wanting that. And so when you make appointments, keeping it is super crucial. Just like your doctor's office charges you a fee to not show up, that's kind of where the industry is going. And so just to be understanding of, we understand that life happens, but our time is also valuable because we are taking time away from our families or away from another client or whatever that may be.
And Terra?
Well, mine is to be honest with your stylist and with your salon. And by that, I mean, I just have really asked each one of my people whether or not they've been social distancing. I've let them all know that I've spied on their Facebook page, especially with holidays and, with Memorial Weekend, and wait 2 weeks. If I get that you want to see people and you want to socialize, but if you choose that, please choose to wait on your hair. Don't make your hair a priority and jeopardize getting people sick. Mm-hmm. So I've asked for honesty from my clients in that regards.
Are you guys having them sign waivers?
No.
Okay.
They are signing like a sign-in sheet when they come into my salon that says that they haven't been exposed. They're practicing, to the best of their knowledge, they've been practicing social distancing, and they have not had any symptoms within the last 14 days.
Yeah. Are you taking temperatures?
We are not. We're asking them to self-screen.
Okay.
Renee, are you doing those things?
We do have a little, just a really quick little, just that they know that they're coming in a pandemic, just like you would do anywhere else. But I do have a thermometer. I think we'll use that for the staff to check ours. We haven't really checked guests yet. But Terra, you're so right. Making sure people haven't been out of the country. I have a client that actually had COVID. She was on a plane. She got it coming back from California. And so she can't come in till after she's, I think, had 2 negative tests. So, but.
I've just put it out there, like, I reserve the right to take your temperature. We're taking our temperatures every morning as the staff, for the staff, we're doing that. But I do have a thermometer sitting right at the front for everybody to see it, so they know that if I'm like, do you think I've looked at your Facebook lately? Anything you should tell me?
Well, we just got over a kind of a flu epidemic before we got cut off. And it was funny because people come in and they're like, oh, it's just allergies. I just have this. I just have that. I think that's going to be different in our industry for us and for our clients. If we feel like we have that tickle in our throat, if we feel like we have that, because sometimes we're like, oh, I'll just go to work, we're fine. I won't feel like that anymore. If I feel like maybe I might be coming down for something, I will call my clients and reschedule them. And before I was a workhorse, that I thought, I'm fine, and I hardly ever get sick. Or just with what we do, our immune system actually is pretty good. But you do get those clients coming in coughing or this and that. We won't be able to do that anymore. So that part of our industry, I can see that changing big time. So.
Well, I think that actually honesty is super important, as you've pointed out, for all of you. I mean, I wouldn't want to lie to my stylist. Number one, you can tell. And number two, you guys have scissors next to my head. So that would be, another reason. Thank you guys, though, for joining us today. I have learned so much. I love how you're sticking together. You're talking about being, colleagues, even though you're competitors. It's for the whole industry as a whole. This discussion has been really interesting for me. All of our videos and discussions are archived on our video site, which everyone can access for free. If you feel that you want to buy a ticket for this, though, you can donate to the Community Journalism and Civic Engagement Fund via the Inovia Foundation. The Spokesman-Review is adapting to new ways of doing business and bringing you facts and information like this that matter. We really appreciate your support. And again, thank you, Renee, Holly, and Terra for making time for all of us, and Rebecca for running this today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.